The forest trembled softly as moonlight spilled like silver water across the sleeping world. Stars whispered secrets in the treetops, and somewhere deep beneath them, a tiny heart began to dream of something more. The little fox lifted its head, feeling the world shimmer around it, the air humming with quiet magic, the leaves glowing faintly as though listening to the moon. Why did the sky look alive tonight? Why did the wind sound like a song calling its name? The fox took a cautious step forward, eyes wide and bright, and suddenly, the world seemed to open. Shadows danced into shapes, the moss glowed like starlight beneath its paws, and a soft voice, perhaps the moon's itself, seemed to say, "Follow me." The forest waited, holding its breath, as the first paw print was set upon the glowing path of wonder. The glowing path wound deeper through the sleeping woods, leading to a place the fox had never seen. The air felt softer here, touched by the rhythm of dreams. Every tree shimmered faintly, their leaves whispering like voices from long ago. The little fox's paws pressed into silver moss that sparkled beneath each step. A stream sang nearby, its ripples glowing like melted starlight, and in the distance something twinkled brighter, as though the moon had dropped a piece of itself upon the earth. The fox's heart fluttered with quiet excitement. The forest no longer felt silent. It felt alive, as if it too was waiting for a story to begin. The fox paused at a small wooden bridge covered in moss. Something shimmered beneath, a school of tiny fish glowing like shooting stars. They darted beneath the water, forming patterns that looked like constellations. The fox leaned closer, breath trembling, and for a moment the stars below seemed to move in rhythm with the sky above. A soft laugh echoed, distant, kind, and made entirely of light. The fox looked up, wondering if the moon was watching. The laughter came again, closer this time, rippling through the trees like silver rain. Across the bridge, the forest opened into a meadow bathed in silver blue light. The grass swayed gently as if in tune with an invisible lullaby. Fireflies danced in slow spirals, painting trails of gold across the night air. The fox stepped into the clearing and felt warmth rise in her chest, not from the moonlight, but from the comfort of knowing she wasn't alone. The world seemed to breathe with her, to whisper with her, and somewhere in the distance, the faint hum of a new melody began to play. It was the sound of a journey unfolding. As the melody swelled, the fox looked toward the distant hills. There, beyond the trees, rose a mountain capped in light. A mountain that shimmered as though the moon itself had built it from dreams. The path of light led straight toward it. The fox's eyes filled with wonder and courage. The night no longer felt vast and lonely, but filled with purpose. Above her, the moon brightened, and its glow stretched like a bridge across the sky. The adventure had begun, and the little fox knew she was being guided by something beautiful. The moonlit path twisted gently upward through the forest, where the air shimmered like liquid silver. The little fox trotted softly, each step lighting faint footprints that vanished behind her. Then a glow drifted from the trees, slow and graceful like falling snow. It floated closer, weaving between branches, until a tiny voice whispered through the night. It wasn't words, but music, a sweet humming note that made the stars tremble. The fox stopped, ears lifted, and watched as the glow became a small creature made of light, wings shimmering like glass petals. The air smelled faintly of lilac and rain. The fox tilted her head, and the creature circled her once, leaving a trail of glitter that danced on the wind. It was an invitation. The little fox smiled inside her heart, the kind of smile made for friendship. More than here we sing it swag of shiny made for friendship. The little moth twirled in the air, her light pulsing like the beat of a tiny drum. She circled the fox again, then hovered before her nose. For a moment, time held still. Two small creatures under a giant sky, seeing each other not as strangers but as kindred sparks. The moth's glow flickered gently, as though laughing, then darted ahead along the path. The fox followed, paws silent on the soft earth. They moved together through the whispering forest, their lights blending, warm gold and cool, silver twining into one. Above them, the moon seemed to watch with pride, its reflection scattered across the leaves like fallen dreams. Somewhere ahead, the sound of running water called them closer, a lullaby sung by the forest itself. They reached the stream where silver water danced between smooth stones. The air here shimmered differently, thicker with magic. Mira landed on a pebble and dipped her glowing wings into the stream. The water rippled outward, changing color from silver to bright sapphire. The fox stepped closer and saw her own reflection surrounded by stars that weren't really there. It was as if the water could remember the sky. The moth fluttered upward again, light sparkling from her wings like droplets of starlight. The fox laughed softly, a small sound that echoed across the glade like a wish. For the first time, she felt the joy of being part of something bigger, something that sang quietly inside everything that shone. The stream led them to an open field where the moonlight thickened like fog. The stars seemed closer now, large and curious, peeking through drifting clouds. The moth paused midair, her glow dimming for a moment as she looked toward a dark shape ahead. An old stone arch covered in moss. It seemed to breathe softly, like the forest itself. The fox stepped forward, curiosity blooming like a spark. As the moth fluttered closer, runes along the stone flickered awake, glowing with the same color as her light. The air hummed, a sound deep and soothing, older than memory. Together they stared at the arch, feeling both wonder and a tiny tingle of fear. Beyond it shimmered the start of something new. The moth fluttered around the arch, tracing the runes with delicate light until the center began to glow. The stone warmed, and the air filled with swirling motes of silver dust. The fox stepped back as the glow brightened into a doorway made of moonlight itself. Through it, she could see a valley of stars, hills shining like crystal, and waterfalls that fell upward instead of down. The moth turned to her, wings flickering like a heartbeat. The fox nodded, not with words, but with courage. Together they stepped through the gate. The light wrapped them in warmth, and for a breathless moment they floated. Free, glowing, and full of hope. Light spilled around them like a waterfall of stars. The ground shimmered beneath soft paws and glowing wings. And when the brightness faded, the little fox and the moth found themselves standing on a valley floor, blanketed in silver mist. Mountains curved gently around the horizon, their peaks glinting as if carved from moonbeams. Every step made the air ripple with color. Pinks, blues, and tiny sparks of gold that danced upward like laughter. The valley hummed softly, alive with stories that hadn't yet been told. The fox could hear faint echoes of voices, children's giggles, lullabies, and the hush of dreams being born. Mira drifted beside her, her wings trembling in awe. Together they realized this was no ordinary valley. It was the place where all dreams began their first breath. As they walked deeper into the valley, the mist began to take shape. Wisps of light curled together and transformed into tiny, glowing creatures. Rabbits of silver smoke, birds woven from starlight, and soft shapes that danced just beyond touch. Luna trotted playfully through them, each step leaving ripples of brightness in her wake. The fox barked gently, a sound that made the lights flutter with joy. Mira fluttered beside her, her glow growing stronger, painting gentle halos in the mist. For a moment, it felt like they had stepped into a living dream, one that breathed, sparkled, and welcomed them home. But then from somewhere high above came a soft, echoing hum that sounded almost like a sigh. Something or someone was watching. The hum grew louder, rolling through the air like the purr of a giant heart. The valley lights flickered, and the dream creatures drifted aside, clearing a wide path. From the mist rose a gentle figure made entirely of light. Tall and flowing, its shape neither animal nor human, but something between. It radiated calm, warmth, like the feeling of being wrapped in a blanket. The fox froze, ears tilted forward. Mira lowered herself beside her friend, her tiny wings trembling. The being spoke in a voice like rippling water. "Welcome, keepers of the path. The moon has guided you true." The fox felt her chest swell, not with fear, but with belonging. She didn't know what a keeper was, only that she wanted to find out. The spirit bent low, its face smooth and radiant like moonlit water. "Every dream that finds its way to sleeping hearts begins here," it whispered, voice echoing softly through the air. "But the balance has been disturbed." The dreamlight fades. The fox tilted her head, and Mira's glow dimmed slightly. The valley around them pulsed once, bright, then faint, like a heartbeat growing weak. The fox took a careful step forward, her tail flicking with determination. She didn't know how, but she wanted to help. The spirit smiled, its glow flickering in approval. "Then you must seek the echo tree," it said, "where sound and silence meet." The wind picked up, scattering motes of silver dust that spiraled into the sky, forming the faint outline of a tree made entirely of light. The image of the echo tree shimmered like a promise in the air, its roots winding through stars, its branches brushing the moon. Then it vanished, leaving behind only the soft hum of the valley. Luna looked toward Mira, eyes shining with quiet bravery. The moth's wings pulsed gently, their glow steady again. Together they turned toward the hills, where a faint trail of light wound upward into the unknown. Behind them, Ilarian's voice drifted like wind through leaves. "Follow the song that never ends." The valley sighed, peaceful once more, as the two small travelers began to climb. Guided by hope, moonlight, and the whisper of the dreams yet to be found. The hills stretched upward like waves of light, and the soft path shimmered beneath Luna's paws. The higher they climbed, the quieter the world became. The stars hung lower here, their glow pulsing in rhythm with the moon's silver heart. Mira drifted beside her, her wings humming softly, leaving ribbons of golden light that danced like fireflies. As they reached the ridge, a sound stirred the silence, faint, melodic, like the sigh of wind through crystal bells. The fox froze, ears flicking, as the melody wrapped around her. It wasn't a song of words, but of feelings. Courage, longing, hope. The moth fluttered ahead, her light brightening. "The echo tree," whispered the wind. It wasn't far now. As they descended the ridge, mist curled around them like a living veil. The air thickened with echoes, whispers of laughter, cries, and lullabies carried by unseen voices. Each sound tugged gently at the fox's heart, as though calling her by name. Mira fluttered close, her glow steady but dimmer, sensing the weight of the valley's silence. The fox pressed on, each step sinking into soft moss that seemed to hum beneath her paws. A faint shimmer appeared ahead, a tall tree with branches made of glass and roots of silver. It shimmered with every sound, turning voices into light. But as they neared it, the tree dimmed, its glow trembling as if afraid. The fox's chest ached. This was the heart of the dreams, and it was fading. The fox stepped closer, paw brushing the tree's base. A tremor ran through the ground, and suddenly the air filled with shimmering images, forgotten dreams taking form. A child's lost kite soared across the sky. A lullaby drifted, unfinished. A tear sparkled mid-air before vanishing. The tree was weeping light. Mira hovered near one of the glowing roots, her voice trembling. "It's losing its song," she whispered. Luna closed her eyes, pressing her paw gently to the trunk. The world quieted. Then, slowly, she began to hum, soft, shy, and true. The sound flowed from her heart into the roots, spreading warmth. The tree responded, faintly glowing once more. The fox didn't know why she sang, only that the song had always been inside her. The hum deepened, spreading through the valley like ripples in a silver lake. The tree's glow returned, flooding the ground with threads of color, soft blues, golds, and purples weaving through the air. The forgotten dreams began to gather, drawn back to their source. Mira's wings pulsed brightly, lending her light to the rhythm of Luna's song. The fox sang louder now, her voice strong and steady. The trees, branches lifted, shimmering with radiant echoes, until the whole forest seemed to breathe again. The air smelled of new rain and moonflowers. Above them, the stars flickered in time with her melody, as if singing back in gratitude. For the first time, the night itself smiled. When the last note faded, silence bloomed, deep and comforting. The tree glowed with steady light, no longer trembling. Tiny motes of brightness drifted down, landing gently on the fox's fur and Mira's wings. Ilarian's voice echoed faintly through the night. The song of dreams is safe again. The moth landed beside her friend, wings folding like soft petals. The fox looked up at the tree, her reflection shining in its crystal bark. She felt warmth in her heart, not from the moon, but from something far brighter. The courage to believe. The valley sighed, content. Above them, the moon drifted higher, casting light over two small shapes, a fox and a moth, who had restored the world's dreamlight together. Dawn had not yet come, but the valley shimmered with new light, soft ripples of silver flowing outward from the echo tree. Luna watched as the glow gathered into a single beam stretching toward the horizon, guiding her to the next part of her journey. Mira fluttered at her side, golden light flickering like a heartbeat. Together they followed the beam until the trees thinned, and the earth opened into something vast and breathtaking. A lake so smooth it looked like glass. It reflected the stars, the moon, and even the fox's curious face. The moth hovered low, her wings brushing the mirrored water, sending ripples of light across its surface. "The sea of reflections," whispered the wind. Every ripple seemed to whisper a story, and every sparkle felt like a secret waiting to be found. The lake shimmered with living pictures. When Luna stepped closer, she saw herself as a tiny kit chasing fireflies, her laughter echoing in the water. Mira circled above, casting a warm glow over each reflection. With every ripple, a new memory appeared. Not just hers, but others. She saw children dreaming of faraway worlds, whales swimming beneath auroras, and forests singing lullabies to sleeping stars. The air was thick with calm magic, a reminder that every dream and every heart were connected like the ripples that met at the center of the lake. The fox dipped her paw into the water and watched light scatter outward. It was beautiful. A living story made from everyone's hope. A soft wind swept over the lake, turning its mirror surface into waves of silver. The reflections shimmered, then shifted into something new, a dark ripple that spread from the farthest edge. The fox's ears perked as a faint hum filled the air. The moth drifted closer, wings pulsing nervously. The light began to flicker, and within the dark water shapes began to move. Shadows, slow and quiet, formed from forgotten dreams. They were not cruel, only lost. Luna stepped forward, her reflection trembling. "Don't be afraid," the moth whispered, landing on her shoulder. Together they watched as the darkness rippled closer, carrying whispers of sadness and silence. It was the other side of dreaming, the part that had been waiting to be remembered. The fox closed her eyes and remembered the melody she had sung to the echo tree. Slowly, she began to hum again, the same song that had awakened the valley. The sound spread gently across the lake, and wherever the notes touched, the shadows softened. The forgotten dreams shimmered, changing color from gray to pearl, then to gold. The water stilled. Mira joined her, wings glowing brighter with every beat. The song grew stronger, weaving through the air until it seemed the moon itself was singing with them. The darkness faded completely, leaving behind a calm so pure it made the stars twinkle in time. Luna smiled, realizing the lake didn't reflect what was. It reflected what could be, if one only believed. As the final note faded, the lake rippled one last time and revealed something new. A bridge made entirely of moonlight stretching from the shore to the horizon. It pulsed gently, waiting for their steps. The fox looked at her reflection one more time and saw not a small creature, but a brave spirit of light. Mira brushed her wings against the fox's ear, smiling in her way. Together they stepped onto the bridge, their shapes glowing brighter with each pace. Behind them the lake shimmered with new life, carrying their song into every dream across the world. The journey was far from over, but for now, their hearts were full. The stars above whispered softly, "Every dream begins with courage." The moonlight bridge carried them higher than any mountain, rising through drifting veils of mist. The air grew soft and weightless, filled with the perfume of rain and stars. Luna glanced down. The world below shimmered like a painting made of dreams, each valley glowing faintly with the light she had restored. Mira flew beside her, wings leaving trails of gold through the night. Ahead, the clouds parted to reveal towers made of vapor and crystal, a kingdom resting gently on the sky. The fox's breath caught as soft beams of light spiraled upward, carrying sleeping dreams to waiting stars. "This is where the dreams are born," whispered Mira, her voice trembling with awe. Together they stepped from the bridge onto the silver clouds, their paws and wings stirring ripples of starlight. The cloud streets shimmered under their paws, whispering softly with every step. All around them shapes of light drifted, tiny guardians made from the laughter of dreams. They carried glowing orbs that pulsed like beating hearts before floating upward to the stars. Luna watched one rise and vanish into the heavens, her tail flicking with wonder. Mira followed a trail of golden dust to a great courtyard where enormous fountains spilled light instead of water. Each droplet formed an image: a sleeping child, a sparkling forest, a distant song. "Every dream passes through here before it finds its way home," murmured Mira. The fox tilted her head, feeling warmth flood her heart. It was as if they had walked straight into the moon's secret garden. A soft tremor rippled through the sky. The fountains flickered and several of the tiny orbs dimmed as though caught by a shadow. The fox's ears twitched. Something was wrong. Mira hovered uneasily, her wings pulsing faster. From above, the clouds thickened and swirled, forming a spiral that blotted out part of the stars. Within the spiral's heart glowed a shape, faint, broken, and lonely. It was a dream that could not rise. Luna took a cautious step forward, eyes soft with concern. She could feel the sadness coming from it, an unfinished dream, lost between light and dark. Without thinking, she began to hum again, her voice trembling but kind. The melody drifted upward like a ribbon of hope. Slowly, the dark shape began to glow. The melody filled the sky, wrapping around the fading dream like a soft blanket. Mira joined in, her wings beating in time with the tune, scattering sparks of gold through the air. The broken dream shuddered, then released a sigh, a sound so gentle it made the stars blink. Its light grew stronger, expanding outward until the storm clouds melted away. The dream spirit formed into a bird made of silver mist. It circled Luna once, singing her melody back to her, then soared upward into the night, trailing feathers of pure starlight. The entire kingdom brightened, the fountains glowing once more. The fox's heart swelled with quiet joy. Even lost dreams, she realized, could learn to fly again. Peace settled over the cloud kingdom. The stars shone clearer now, their reflections dancing across the crystal towers. A gentle wind brushed through, carrying faint laughter, the sound of new dreams being born. Luna looked toward Mira, her eyes glowing softly. "We helped it find its way," the fox murmured. Mira smiled, wings folding like petals. From the highest spire, a beam of light extended downward toward the earth below. "It's time," whispered the moth. Together, they stepped onto the beam. The kingdom shimmered behind them, its towers fading into the morning sky. As they descended, clouds parted to reveal dawn blooming across the world. They were heading home, carrying the moon's gift of light within their hearts. The moonlight beam carried Luna and Mira down through the morning clouds, wrapping them in warmth and mist. The air smelled of dew and pine again, and the quiet rhythm of the earth called to them from below. As they descended, the sky slowly turned from deep silver to pale blue. The fox blinked as sunlight touched her fur for the first time since her journey began. The moth hovered beside her, glowing softly like a final star that refused to fade. Below, the forest waited, peaceful, familiar, and alive with birdsong. The little fox paws tingled with joy. She realized she was returning not as the small creature who had left, but as one who had carried the moon's song in her heart. Her adventure had changed her forever. They landed softly in the meadow where it had all begun. The grass shimmered with dew, and tiny flowers tilted their heads toward the rising sun. For a long moment, Luna just stood still, breathing in the scent of earth and moss. The forest seemed to remember her. Leaves rustled in greeting, and the stream nearby sang its soft, familiar tune. Nora circled once around the fox's head, her wings flickering warmly. "We did it," she whispered, though no words were needed. The light within them both pulsed gently, reflecting off the water like twin stars. The fox lifted her gaze toward the moon, still faintly visible in the sky, her heart swelling with gratitude. The journey had ended, but its song would never fade. The forest began to stir. Birds rose into the sky, and a soft wind brushed through the trees, carrying whispers of distant dreams. From the shadows, the family of owls, Saren, 8 years, and her 2 chicks, Pip, 1 year, and Nori, 1 year, emerged, their feathers glowing faintly in morning light. They hooted softly, as if to welcome her home. Luna smiled, curling her tail around her paws. Mira hovered between them all, her golden dust sparkling like sunlight through raindrops. The owls listened as the fox told her story, not with words, but with gentle glances and the shimmer of her fur. And when she finished, the whole forest seemed to sigh in contentment. The world felt lighter now, wrapped in peace. As the sun rose higher, the last traces of moonlight faded from the world, but not from the fox's heart. When she closed her eyes, she could still see the bridge of light, the echo tree, the sea of reflections, and the kingdom of clouds. She remembered the song that saved the dreams, the courage that grew with every step, and the soft voice of Ilarion whispering, "The moon chose well." Mira rested beside her on a nearby flower, her wings folding like tiny petals. For the first time, everything felt still and right. The world was awake, and yet it still shimmered with magic. The fox realized she no longer needed to chase the moonlight, because it now lived within her. That night, when the moon rose again, Luna lifted her gaze from the meadow and smiled. The sky seemed brighter, the stars softer. Somewhere far above, she knew Ilarion, and the dreams watched her with pride. Mira fluttered to her shoulder, wings twinkling like 2 tiny stars. Together, they watched the moon climb higher, painting the forest in silver. The fox closed her eyes and breathed in the cool night air. The world was at peace. Every dream, every song, every light connected by the journey they had taken. As she curled into the soft grass, the moonlight wrapped around her like a blanket. The forest whispered, "Rest, brave one," and with a soft sigh, the little fox drifted into a gentle, endless dream.